Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Support for this podcast comes from Frito-Lay and the 2023 Snack Bracket Championship. The Frito-Lay Snack-It Challenge is underway, and fans are voting on their favorite snacks to crown champion. We're talking about prime-time matchups between the best 64 snacks in the land. Will Ruffles Ridges reign supreme? Can Doritos defend their dynasty? Or will Smart Food use their smarts for a surprise upset? Only you can decide. Get in on all the action for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks. Let your snacks be heard. Just go to fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com to vote and enter for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends April 3rd, 2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for 1 bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com.
Welcome to the shit show. I'm Kirk Henderson, and this is Mavs Moneyball's Group Therapy. You're joining me at 11:30 on a Tuesday night because what in the hell else are you going to do but be mad online following another disastrous Dallas Mavericks performance? Despite having an MVP caliber player, the Dallas Mavericks can't get a stop to save their lives, can't run a play that would make sense for third graders, and of course, they lose the game in utterly humiliating fashion once again. Thank you so much for spending part of your week with me. Guys, I'm mad. I'm mad online. I was feeling okay. I was feeling good. You know, it's a loss. Losses happen. Sometimes weird things happen. Okay? Weird things happen in basketball games. I was fine with that. And then I read Jason Kidd's explainer on that last play, and I realized that Jason Kidd doesn't have a normal sense of linear time. He doesn't know that you can also, and this is a crazy thing, he doesn't know that you can run a play in which the ball goes towards the basket on an end of play or on a game deciding play. He doesn't know you can do that. He doesn't know. It's something we're going to have to explain it to him because Mavs Twitter tells Jason Kidd how to do a lot of things. It's very important, Mavs Twitter. He talks about us a lot. We're a big deal. Then I read Spencer Dinwiddie's quote, and I'm going to read it to you guys. For them, it's a showcase. They're over there trying to get paid, not trying to play winning basketball. For a team that has real aspirations and has an MVP, went to the conference finals last year, we have to be better to a man. Not playing winning basketball, or they just beat you. What are you talking about? Do you not know how wins and losses work? They have more points than you. Spencer sucked. He was one of the, tell that man to play a modicum of defense. He was a trash can on defense again, is one of the worst defensive players on the team, and gets beat constantly doing dumb shit stuff. They had a 10-0 run in no small part because of him. He's had a bad month is all. I don't care. All right, let's go, because I'm pissed and you are too. Jason Gallagher, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, man?
I don't know.
I told you this. I texted you this. I have tonight was the night I became the Joker. Tonight is the night where all the positive bullshit that I try to spread is gone out the window, and for two reasons. One, Mavs media. Okay, we asked Kid about the last play. He gives a bullshit answer, and nobody, not a single person, thought to say, "Yeah, so why did you run it again?" Not a single.
Well, they didn't have a
single
timeout.
person.
They didn't have a timeout.
I don't care. His most viral clip last year, Kirk, was him screaming from the sidelines, telling his defense what to do. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. That either means bad preparation or just fuck it, Luka will figure it out. Like, I don't give a shit. Okay, that is not a good excuse to run the exact same stupid fucking thing again. It's not. It's not. It's not a good excuse. Okay. Secondly, Spencer Dinwiddie's quote. I'm glad you read it because I was going to read it because it is the exact problem with this team. Okay? It is a team that overachieved last year. I think any unbiased watcher of basketball can say that what the Mavericks did last year was overachieve. And that's okay because that is super fun to watch. But in a year in which Denver was hurt, New Orleans wasn't New Orleans yet, the Clippers were hurt. Like, all of these things had to happen for Dallas to have a puncher's chance to beat Phoenix, in which they eventually did, and then they got their asses kicked by Golden State. So they overachieved, but they are walking around like they are something that they are not. They are not a winning basketball team right now, okay? That coaching staff is not a winning coaching staff. And my worry about this season is they are walking around with their chests out like, we made it to the Western Conference Finals, we're all good, whatever. Go look at the Atlanta Hawks and tell me that you're all good, okay? Because they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they didn't do shit since, okay? Making it to the conference finals in a year in which the road is somewhat paved for you, and all you got to do is sort of overcome one sort of mentally weak Phoenix Suns team, and then you're in the Western Conference Finals, doesn't mean shit, okay? And so that is the problem with this team, from the 15th player to our best player to our coaching staff and to everyone else. And my worry about this postseason, and it will be a good thing when it happens, is that Luka's going to bail these motherfuckers out again, and they're going to everybody's job and all the shit will be secure and it'll be fine. So that's it.
You feel better?
I just had to become the Joker for a second.
Ethan makes a good point in the chat. He asks a very simple question. Postseason?
I mean, it's a great question. Ethan, my guy. It's a great question. That is the fair question. In my, when you read this quote, I've got it here and I'm probably going to stare at it for a long time over the course of the next 7 days. But when I look at it, it's like they're over there trying to get paid. Okay, why aren't we? What has happened? What is the big difference between the Wizards and the Mavericks right now? Like, really? You know what I mean? Other than Luka, what is the difference?
I don't know. I mean, I need to backtrack a little bit. I am not mad at what like
shout out all the people that are just saying,
if Spencer hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have brought him up. It's just, and this is the thing that I made, like, when they traded for him last year, I spent a significant amount of time saying, when things are bad, this fucking guy can't shut the fuck up. You know how I know what Spencer is like? I am like this.
Yeah. I get it. No, I mean, look, you're completely right. We wouldn't have talked about it, but I'm glad he gave that quote because I was having a hard time articulating just what pissed me off so much about this team. And I was having a chat with some other people in the NBA and they said the same thing, that the Mavericks overachieved and they are walking around like they don't know they did. They're walking around like they've been there, done that. They're walking around like they're the Warriors and they're not the Warriors. You know what I mean? Like, the Warriors can do this shit.
Yes.
They have earned that.
Yeah.
Dallas has not. They haven't done anything. And the only saving grace from really this whole fucking season is a bullshit Knicks play in which Luka somehow caught the ball off the fucking missed rebound. Like, it's insane. That really was a turning point for the season, but in the weirdest way possible. And if you watch that game in the 2 minutes prior, it wasn't fucking pretty. You know what I mean?
Well, and then we have a
bro. Y'all just need a punching bag. No,
God. Like I just said, if Spencer
is this Mark Cuban himself?
No, because everybody has everybody on the internet. And look, I respect this because everybody on the internet has a bit. All right, some people's bit is to be Dwight Powell super fans. I don't understand you. I think that
I like it.
Picking Spencer Dinwiddie is a slightly better choice to be a super fan of. But I literally just said, had Spencer not said anything, he would not be a topic of conversation. I'd be mad at the 14 other things that happened. But he decided to say something stupid at an inopportune point. So it is emblematic of what the Mavericks are dealing with as a team, to where they think there's something they're not. Collectively, organizationally, coaching staff, owners, the team that, the constant references to social media. Jason, you are a consumer of national NBA stuff because of what you do for a living. Does any other fan base have the hold of the front office, coaching staff, and owner the way the Mavericks do?
No. They talk about him all the time, and it's the weirdest freaking thing. And somebody responded to me tonight and was like, kid's gonna subtweet you. And it's like literally think about anything else. Like, you should not be worried about
why do I matter. We have like 75 people in here. You know how many people are going to listen to this?
Draw up a different play, my guy.
Yeah.
2,000
people will listen to this podcast. 2,000.
And
you know how many people?
I want to say, I just want to go off just one more time. First off, shout out Jack Stevens. He just posted a GIF from a video that I made, so I'm going to out there. And then second, I get it. I get apologetic Mavs Twitter, but at times I start to think, are these people being paid by the Dallas Mavericks? There is a contingent of Twitter that is like, Jalen Brunson was always going to leave.
Are you suggesting? Are you suggesting astroturfing from like?
No, listen to me. To any Mavs fan that is like, well, he was always going to leave. No, he wasn't. I promise you.
You know how Jason knows this, guys? I'll let you think about it for a few minutes.
He wasn't going to just walk away the whole time. It was when the organization felt as though they were too good for him, and then he bounced. And God bless him for it. Yeah. And you know what's pathetic about this, Kirk, is that we are bitching about a guy who's probably not even an all-star this year. Yeah. Like that's how things have gotten, is that we're like, fuck, we gave away a guy who's not even an all-star. You know what I mean? It's like, that's our bar.
It's great.
Anyways,
I love Big Matt Online. I love, there's our friend, Bobby Corrala, who does a wonderful job with everything related to the Mavericks. The people that are forward, so let me be clear on this, guys. The lower level people that work for the Mavericks, that are forward facing, that run their social media accounts, that do all, are great, hardworking people that love the team, and they get so much shit that is not their fault. And Bobby said on the radio Saturday, he's like, he's like, we can't change any of this, so we just got to enjoy it while we can. At the time, I sent him a mean text message where I was like, the hell we can't. And then a few hours later, I was like, okay, you're right. I can't change it, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try. Rage against the light.
Well, yeah, but he's got his role in this, in this sports multiverse, and so do we. You know what I mean? And his role is to be positive and to do all the things. And God bless him and shout out him. And honest to God, that quote of like, there's nothing we can do about it. That is some bleak shit, but it's
also very true.
But it's very true, and I think that narrative can sort of push things a certain way. And I am. At least for tonight, I am the Joker, and I am no longer positive. I am just like, I can't understand why the game is as close as it was to begin with. And then I see some bonkers back-to-back plays to end the game. And then I see a quote that is like, we're too good. No, you're not.
No, you're not. You're one game above 500 with like 14
you're not
losses.
That good.
So there was apparently a segment before the game. I had multiple people tell me this in the pregame show where Jeff Skinwade, friend of the show, he and I argue. I like Skins. Do not be a shit about this, anybody. he basically made the statement that the Mavericks are some missed free throws away from being a much better team. And Devin
technically that can be
Devin
true.
Harris looked at him and goes, no, they're terrible at defense. They are who they are. And him and the other woman in the front office or in the studio were like, because it's not the party line, because both things are true.
Yeah.
That's actually
very true. Very true. And I'm going to tag out because some people want to get in and they should. But the thing that I would say is that, yes, we are some free throws away from winning games, but we are also some better last minute possessions from winning games. We are better defensive possessions away from
some JaVale McGee shouldn't have started games possessions away from winning games.
There are 1,000 reasons why you lose games, but
That's
when
right.
you add all of them up, you can't help but think to yourself, boy, this looks like the Dallas Cowboys of basketball here. They seem wildly unprepared. They seem like just kind of playing one note. And then when that doesn't work, maybe we'll sub in Frank Ntilikina every once in a while. It's like that is literally what happens. And a combination of those things adds up to a lot of losses. And so while Jeff is right, I mean, that matters though. You can't just say that. You can't just say that. It's like I don't even know what it's like Jeffrey Dahmer being like, I'm just a few murders away from being a good citizen. It's like, no, okay, well then don't do the murders, my guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
You're the best. Thanks for staying up late with us.
Y'all.
Bye. I hope Jason sticks around for a bit. Okay, I'm gonna go in order. We're not gonna. Jason talked a little longer, and I don't want to be here till 2 a.m. So let's get our piece out. I'm gonna let my man Ruben come up because Ruben really has some heat. I can feel it.
Kurt, oh my God! Fuck, Kurt. Like literally, they had no center for. Davia was in the closing play.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd, you handpicked a center for this team and just throw the ball towards the goal. He's going to catch it. Either he's going to get fouled or dunk. It's you. I've never like actually been shaking from a loss until tonight. I literally had to calm myself down. I had to talk to myself after this night. What the fuck just happened?
Well, the whole game was a mess. I mean, the right before halftime was when things got bleak for me. Because the Mavericks had made it a game, and then all of a sudden the Wizards are up 5. I'm going to look at this in the play-by-play. Because
check it. I think soon as you
37 seconds left, Denny Advia ties the game 60 apiece. Okay. Then they go up 61-60. And after that, the Mavericks commit an offensive foul. Anthony Gill, whoever the balls that is, makes a layup. And then Dorian Finney-Smith bricks a shot. And Bradley Beal makes another 2-point shot. So it goes from being a tie, basically a 1-pointer tie game with 37 seconds left, to the Mavericks being down 5. And that, like, in a 1-point game, those sorts of lapses, which the Mavericks just experienced throughout the game, is over.
This team, it's still my team. It just like, and they don't make it better post game. Maybe that's why I'm still pissed off.
That is why we're mad, because if they don't go into the, because there's never any accountability. There's always just like dumb shit, and I do that. I'm
your head coach hits us. His best explanation is sometime he hit us with. I don't know if you've seen the movie Friday with Chris Tucker and Ice Cube in it.
I'm not that uncultured.
He pops. Sometimes you lose some, you win some, but you live to fight another day.
Yes.
I don't need to hear that quote from $1 million coach that's a Hall of Fame point guard. What?
Well, see, so that's interesting. So, like, his Hall of Fame point guard is the same. Like, I just don't know if a guy that's this much of a basketball savant as Jason Kidd is, because Jason Kidd, like, emotes the game. He feels the game. I don't know if he can explain the game. I don't know if he can teach the game. And that's not like a hypercritical
It's just
thing.
like,
That's like a big
why Peyton Manning can't be a coach. He just go out there and do it. I did it. He's kind of like that. He's not an X and O's. He's like, well, if I did it, I mean, I can just tell you how to do it and not explain it and teach you. But that's what I don't get. You have groomed, maybe it's not him, I don't know. You have groomed Josh Green into a damn near our best asset. You have groomed Jaden Hardy into the best G League player the league has ever seen. And you can't.
You're not going to goad me into yelling at you about
you can't write up a finishing play where the other team does not. Kurt, their center was fouled out or damn near about to foul out, and your play is okay. Let's not. Okay, so that's just. Oh my God. Just throw it up. The first play, the first try. Maybe you don't get it, but it's a foul. So maybe you get another chance. You have, I don't even scream for JaVale McGee, but I will scream for him when the other team doesn't have a center in the last play of the game. You only need a point. Kurt, we only needed a point. And then I got Spence post game. Oh, they don't got nothing to play for. They got players out there showcasing. That's the Magic, OKC, the Rockets. You have lost to all these teams showcasing young players. And I think I gave Nick his props for, saying that question. And then I'm just like, that's the energy we're looking for. The Josh Green energy that every play, I'm going to show what the fuck I got. And I don't care what happens. Jaden Hardy, he will give everything he got driving to that goal. If it doesn't go in, fuck it. I'll get it the next play. These old players don't have, we're counting on a Spencer Dinwiddie, a THJ, and Reggie Bullock should be deported. I would fucking say they are illegal immigrants right now and have them traded and deported at the same time.
You're considering calling the police. That's how angry you are.
Well, not calling the police, but anyway, get them off the team. But no,
Ruben, do you feel any better?
Reggie, get them out of here. I would literally, that's what. And next time Jason Kidd brings up Mavs Twitter, I want a media person to correct that. We are MFFLs. We are going to be here and still root for this team. Now, you, J Mid, you are Luka will get you out of here faster than we can. And don't be surprised. But just before I go, it's like, okay, Jaden Hardy, we're going to send you down to prove it. We got to let you prove it. Highest scoring player in the G League, learns a lot of stuff. Even comes in here, drops a 25-pointer game on our heads.
You're not gonna throw me come on.
Oh no, I'm not.
Go ahead. You're teasing.
No, just let me finish. Oh, C Wood, which we didn't give up much for you, but you got to prove it to us. First couple games, 25. He was averaging 25. He's on the bench now because, hurt. But if he would have started from the get-go, and that's why I kind of went off on Tim when he dropped that bombshell saying they want to start JaVale McGee. It's like this team, it's like the coaching staff, and I don't want to say the media, but just some of the media. That's why the fans are so pissed off right now. You got a head coach that I don't know what the fuck is up his ass, but play your best players. Like Josh Green is going off.
He played a lot tonight. Green played a lot tonight. Unfortunately,
it showed off. And I just bought his jersey.
Good. That's fun. Good for you.
Write up a better play, or we will get your ass out of here.
32 minutes for Josh Green. That wouldn't shock me if that's among his top 10 most minutes games played.
THJ should never start again. Can we agree on that?
Well, it's hard. Ruben, thanks for joining us. All right, bub?
All right. Thanks.
Talk soon. All right, let's fly through some folks then. Let's go with my man Sam. How you doing, Sam?
Hey, Kirk. I hate this fucking team. Like, I really hate this team. This started from game 1 of the season against Phoenix. Like, we blew a 24-point lead, got down to 1. Then Christian Wood goes off, and then we still lost the game when we were up by 15 with like 8 minutes go. That's what this whole season. That's what it's all been. Ever since then, it's 16-point league against OKC, losing against team without their best players. Hell, they didn't have KP again, and we still lost to the Wizards again.
Yeah,
like, bro, this is ridiculous, man. Like, I mean, I can't even follow the last two guys because they literally said everything I wanted to say.
That's okay. Say it again. It helps to It helps to say things. You feel better. That's a point of therapy. We can't make any changes. That's the thing I keep kind of coming back to. But I am going to continue to write and put pressure. We're going to do this from the angles that we can. There's a guy, and I don't want to go off on a tangent here too much, but there's a guy who's been going to games lately. He keeps tweeting about this, shows up my timeline. He's like taking signs saying, fire Mark Cuban. Number one, friend, you can't fire Mark Cuban. He's the owner. You can ask and demand that he sell the team. But fire Mark Cuban misses your point. Do something demand change in some way, shape, or form that's reasonable within the framework of what you want. I'll tell you, if they go on a losing streak like they might, just because of the nature of the schedule, if they fall below 500, there's going to be serious questions raised. We already started to see it. Like that mural really started a conversation that we, the hardcore nut jobs, the negative Nancys of Mavs fandom, have been talking about for some time. And so I don't know. I don't think we really will see any change because I don't think there's nothing that's going to make much of a difference. But hopefully this will bring some attention to the fact that it's years of this stuff. The NBA is too difficult at the higher level. You can't just slap a contender together. The rules are difficult. Drafts matter. Trading matters. Assets matter. You can't whiff on years of decisions and then somehow come out on top because you have a superstar. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, we asked Luka to come into shape come into the season in shape. He did that. And he's performing at all-time MVP levels, and we're letting him down. Like, from the coaching staff to the players we got, you said it plenty of times. Like Maxey, Dorian, I love those guys. Trust me, don't get me wrong. They earned what they got, but they hit their ceiling. It's like they can't get any higher, and it's not their fault. Instead of them playing 34, 35 minutes, they should be playing 25, 26 minutes, which is okay. Right. Yeah. You can be in the league for 10 years doing that. That's cool.
We need guys like that. Every team needs guys like that.
Right. But they can – I mean, hell, even that quote that you tweeted from Bobby Marks talking about they've had the same team since 2018.
Bobby Marks with his inability to look at Basketball Reference. Congratulations.
Yeah. Like, it's been the same team since 2018. And like I said, I like these guys. But at the end of the day, shit ain't getting done. You got to switch it up. I don't want to say make a trade just to make a trade. I get that. But at the same time, it's like in a year where the West is so wide open, where you literally go on a 5-game winning streak, you could be fourth. And this is what we're doing.
Yep.
And I don't know what we need. I don't know if it's Luka. We need like a Chris Middleton to be like, Jason Kidd, get the fuck out of here. We don't want you. I don't want you no more. And if we have something like that, who knows what happens. But the way this team is built, I don't think it's going to happen. So I don't know. I don't want to complain no more. Like, the Cowboys lost on Sunday. I'm already pissed off. So
just a rough week. Rough week. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out. All right. Talk soon.
Have a good night.
Yeah, my head hurts now from all the yelling. Chris, what's up, man?
So the one game Jason Kidd gets a technical foul, we lose by 1 point.
Yeah, when I've been asking for that for a while, that's true.
Oh, I was about to say, I think Jason Kidd listened to your After Dark podcast with Josh. He's like, okay, I guess I'm going to
I have a new request. Now it's get mad and we want, now it's get a technical and we want to know what you get a technical for. Because he got a technical with his hands in his pockets speaking softly. So whatever he said must have been so out of pocket. I wish I knew. We're probably not going to know, but
Yeah, and then Luka picked up another technical. He missed a couple free throws, and I know that the Wizards missed 9 free throws, but losing by 1 point, I mean,
sucks, man.
I mean, those are 6 points right there. 4 missed free throws, 2 technical fouls. right there, that's one thing right there. But yeah, the defense is just the worst defense I've ever seen the Mavs ever had. And it's crazy. And you have Kyle Kuzma, I don't know if you saw the pregame, him dressed up as like the McDonald's McBurglar, dressed up like that. And then he comes in and he plays good again. I mean, we lost to the Wizards twice, and Spencer Dinwiddie's in postgame talking crap about the Wizards, but they beat us twice.
Yep.
They outplayed us. And I just thought this end of the game stuff, like, we all know they're going to Luka. Why can't they have Josh Green like cut to the basket and have Luka maybe inbound the balls because he's a great passer? Do something.
Well,
different.
I just want something going at the rim. Is that too much to
Yeah.
ask?
I mean, he's a great passer. It would throw off teams like, well, obviously we can't, there's like a few seconds left. We can't really close in on Luka. I mean, they have to worry about other players. They could throw them off, but they ran the same exact play. DeLon Wright, it was almost a kickball, and then they take it out. They ran the same exact play again. It was just predictable. And another one of those things, like even then, if you got the shot off, I mean, I think there was going to Dinwiddie, but they're going for a 3. We just need a 2-pointer. So, yeah, and what sucks now is, we're in the 7th spot, but, by next week, we could be in the 13th spot.
Yep. That's
we're
correct.
Playing we're playing the Suns that are tied with us, or maybe a half game above us, or I think they're tied with us right now. But we have to win that game Thursday. I mean, we've got to win all these games coming up, but they've dropped too many of these games, losing by 1 point, losing by 2 points. This is horrible. But I don't know what's going to happen. But I think that, like you said, maybe they should just stand pat and just not make a panic trade and just take our medicine. And if we happen to get the 11th seed, 12th seed, whatever, we'll keep our pick this year. I mean, what else is there? So, but I think the absolute worst case scenario, like I've stated before, is getting the 9th or 10th seed, getting in that play-in, and then getting knocked out of the play-in, and then you're missing playoffs entirely, and you lose your pick. Like that would be that would be like nuclear worst case scenario. So.
Yes, it would.
But that's all I have. Let somebody else come up. Hopefully they can get a win on Thursday.
Thanks, man. Talk soon. All right. Brett. What's up, Brett?
Hey, Kirk. I don't have much to say other than what happened to Shame. What happened to Shame?
Oh, yeah. It's a good – well,
like,
I don't really have any, so it's hard for me to get to. Just like some contrition and being like, we made a mistake.
Yeah, and like if you lose to the Wizards twice in a season, like you should be ashamed of yourself. Like that is the worst run franchise in the league at this point. Like the Kings
texted me and said, "I'm going to bed angry." He's a Washington Wizards fan. Does the GOAT podcast, and he just said, "I'm going to bed angry because of your team," because he wants the Wizards to lose.
Yeah, I mean that, and if you think about like the moves that the Mavs could make, like the bad moves the Mavs could make this year, like the trading a first for Bogdanovich type moves. That's what the Kings did for, 15 years. And that's why they are what they are now. And that's like, and so that's like, they're the example of why you don't make those moves in a year like this. And why you don't make the moves like trading multiple seconds for the player who I can't remember his name, who stole the inbounds pass.
Oh, yeah. DeLon Wright.
Yeah, for DeLon Wright, or for JJ Redick, who didn't like play more than one game with the Mavs or whatever. Like all those moves, like those are the similar kind of moves that get you where you are. And I know you've talked about this, ad nauseum, but it's just frustrating to see, kind of the.
Yeah. I understand, man. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us as always.
No problem.
Okay, let's go to my guy, Brent. Brent, how are we doing this evening?
Oh, I wish it was better, man. How are you?
It's good. I'm going to have to consider the editing that I do to the front half of this podcast.
Well, I'm thinking about something kind of off topic that is loosely analogous.
Let's go with it. Let's get weird. It's midnight.
Well, we've either been there or we've known somebody that was there. When you maybe start dating someone and you do everything you can to keep it on the rails, and because you really like this person, you really want it to work, and you're trying to rationalize away the toxicity. And you go, I know what will solve all these problems at once. Let's get married as a Band-Aid.
That's right.
And And you get married to this person where there's an obvious, overwhelming weight of incongruities is just crushing your soul, but you get off on it for codependency reasons or you really think they're hot or whatever. And then you go, I know what will solve this problem. Let's have a baby. Or it just happens on its own. And the more weight you put on a structure that has foundational problems, the more cracks are going to show and the louder the ticking of the clock is going to be. Now, I'm not trying to overreact to one loss, but this is the kind of loss that feels existential in some ways, because the kind of panic moves that you and I have talked offline and are kind of afraid of, they're going to go, if they happen, in one of two directions. If there's a little winning streak, they're going to over-rationalize and overinflate the importance of a 4 or 5 game winning streak and think that they are something that they're not. And if they go on a 3, 4, 5 game losing streak, maybe we get a panic move in the other direction.
Yep.
But what we've got is the potential for making a commitment to solve foundational problems. And you go, well, what would be a real solution? And then you start looking at being interdicted by circumstances because of the combination of players that we can't live without and players that to either are untradeable or have little to no value to anyone else. And I keep coming back to, don't panic, don't sell, don't buy, just stand pat and do what you said at the beginning of the season, which is make this a take your medicine year. But between the West being wide open, as people keep saying, like what do you do to the relationship you have with your fans? Yep. If you go that route, even though that may be in the long term, what's the healthiest for the relationship you have with your roster, with your fans, is to stand pat, whatever that translates to in the playoffs. Or do you try to take on a commitment analogous to getting married when you shouldn't or having a kid when you shouldn't, to placate the situation for a year, coach for the year, GM for the year, shadow GM for the year, and really dig this hole even deeper? That scares me, because these reports that are coming out from Cato and others that, hey, a trade is imminent, that smacks to me that either they think they're better than they are or are panicked that they are not as good as they wish they were. And I don't think you can make meaningful roster changes until the offseason without really making this fundamentally worse. And you don't get to a point where Luka wants to leave in a day. You get there with some decision points along the way that are tethered together, and the wrong move here could be one of those stars that are tethered together into a constellation that we look back on and go, I wish they hadn't have done that back in 23.
I mean, I have a paint by numbers path of the things that if I was NBA superstar Luka Doncic would have irritated the hell out of me. I mean, he will step in, and the question is, like, he will step in and probably make his presence felt during the roster building at some point. And that is his right as a superstar. But the fact that he hadn't thus far, from everything we know, means the Mavericks missed a golden opportunity to build something without that pressure. Because NBA superstars often don't know what would make the best team. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, textbook examples of this. I personally think LeBron James should have like 2 more titles if he would just, let the GM be the GM. But it's it's difficult. Team building is difficult. And I always try to like think about that, but then it's just the way they've pursued everything that they've done the last 5 years is that it's like I don't know. There's just an arrogance, and there's the lack of humility that the previous caller mentioned is of value. It matters to me. Whereas, the constant references to people like you and me and fans in general for demanding more, it's like, are you missing the point? We are not the point. You're always, I sort of consider our podcast and our site to be the loyal opposition. We are never going to be the majority fans because we're always going to be overcritical. Fan is short for fanatic, but we serve a role. We serve a role in the process, and the process should be a check upon everybody's ego. And when it's very difficult, this sort of thing, because they've had so many of these just utterly catastrophic losses that you wonder which one is the straw that breaks the camel's back.
I get being fanatical, and one of the reasons I enjoy following the Mavericks is not just geographic proximity, because I'm a Seahawks fan. I'm not a Cowboys fan. This thing with the Mavericks and me goes way back, as you know, and it's for the most part, it's always felt like I was rooting for the good guys, and maybe that's a bit nearsighted on my part, and other people in other cities feel that way about their teams and the guys that are on their rosters for a long time.
Pointed uphill a lot of the 80s, and they're awful in the 90s. Then in the 2000s, they were the punchy underdog. They've been the underdog for a lot of our. They've not been the favorite that often, but when you have
and disrespected in the national media to a large extent. And by proxy, if you identify in your life and in your personality with the underdog, with the guy who's underestimated, and you feel like, hey, these are like, to have a superstar like Dirk to root for, who, if circumstances had been slightly different, probably wouldn't have even been in the league had he landed with the wrong coach, the wrong team, the wrong GM. It just feels like where we're at now is not the let's flip half the roster every other year, from the time Dirk made himself known as a force up until the title. They were go back and look at the transactions. They were flipping the roster.
Very few guys were on the team more than 2 years at a time.
Yeah, and there were some good players. Yeah. I mean, we had no problem acquiring and then getting rid of Antoine Jameson, who I really liked, because they were trying to churn the roster for the right fits. And it feels like since the title was achieved, the fire, obviously the years that followed were about Dirk and letting Dirk play. And if we had a great run in the playoffs, that almost felt like a bonus as far as they were concerned. They wanted to be competitive, but I don't think they really ever felt like they were going to go for another title. Sure, they would have taken something had they gotten lucky, but that's not what it was about. The Luka era has felt like the KP move and all the fallout there too.
Yeah.
And when we get to the point of trading for another big name, which won't happen if they make some sort of, or won't happen to the same degree, if they make a trade that is a patchwork quilt kind of trade now, which is what I'm really, really scared of. You're not going to get, if you trade your 25 or your 27 pick, you're not going to be able to have, I think, the assets to go out there and get someone like a Pascal Siakam. You're just not.
Yeah. No, it's too hard.
So, no. And when you look at what these teams like Atlanta and Minnesota did to their organizations, oh, it's scary. I mean, would Cleveland still do it? Yes, they would still do the Mitchell move. But, man, if you gave a mulligan to Atlanta or Minnesota, they would absolutely take it. So even if they hold on to their picks and do what we hope they do, that's no guarantee that a big swing won't be a swing and miss. And so what you have here is a collection of pieces. They're talented. They're great basketball players in the abstract. But together, what they went through last year was some of that underdog vibe that we really enjoy rooting for. And right now, maybe they do the Titanic kind of trade that you've been talking about, because the pieces don't feel like they fit. And the fundamental flaws of Maxey being out obviously is a problem. But between not having that third guard and our problems protecting the rim, the contest of can we outscore you, it's going to come down to last-second shots, which we don't handle well against someone like the Wizards. And it makes a team like the Clippers, who as recently as a year or two ago we've seen a matchup much better with, it felt like we did not match up well with them at all the other day. So, it's Josh's article all over again. This thing can go in either direction. I just hope that we don't get a panic move And I'm sorry if I've been too long-winded. I'm
you're
a
great.
little frustrated tonight.
We're all a little frustrated. That's why we're here. Thanks for hanging out, Brent. Okay, coming up next, we're going to go with Scott. How you doing, buddy? Been a while.
Hey, Kirk. How you doing, man?
Okay. What's going on?
Yeah, just I was so frustrated at the end of the game watching the 2 possessions in a row, and I know we've all been going over that ad nauseum. It just doesn't – I wish somebody maybe at our site could do, like, have they really been doing the same exact play, like, every single time they're close in a game? It seems like it's true, and I made, like, a little picture about it, but it just seems –
oh, yeah.
How is no assistant coach, Jared Dudley, nobody's saying anything?
I mean, the fact that they thought that the fact that they understood that Luka was going to get doubled, which he was before the ball got to him, and they still thought that they needed to get him the ball is so maddening. It's like throwing into double coverage on purpose. That means somebody else was open.
Right.
It's bad.
Well, hey, I just wanted to bring up that I'm in this mock trade deadline thing where I've talked to you a little bit about, and I kind of, you keep saying like, don't do anything. And then I haven't done anything yet. And I keep talking to different people. And sometimes I just feel like maybe I'm getting a picture of how because other teams seem like, give us a first for, somebody was like, give us 2 firsts for Terry Rozier or give me a first for Nicholas Batum. And I was like, why in the world would I do that? Like, and then I have to explain the situation of the Mavericks. And then they're like, yeah, I guess I see what you're talking about. And it's like, even though we only owe 1 first, it seems so crazy that our hands are tied. But I don't know, like, getting to the point where we're a top 10 pick, where we keep our pick. Oh, that sounds like a good idea, except Luka would just be livid. Right. I mean, there would be some quotes that would go out that would make us all feel like maybe he really is going to leave. I don't know. So doing nothing seems like maybe the right course if you're just thinking with your head. But if you're like thinking through, like, what is this going to mean if we really do end up on the bottom half of all those similarly bad teams in the West? And it seems like maybe we could get to the point where we're starting that slow process of an alienation. So I don't know, man. The one trade I was throwing around, I'll see how much people hate it, that I was offered Duncan Robinson and Dedmon and the unprotected 2023 first from the Heat for Tim Hardaway. So you get a worse contract, but you get a first.
That's a hell of a thing to think about, because like Duncan Robinson's contract it's a bottom 10 contract, I think.
Yeah.
Like he might be committing fraud with how much money he's taking. Like it's alarming. Like he makes Bertans look like a functional rotation player.
Yeah. The idea of like adding assets sounds great, but it's like how, anyway, that's just a dumb trade to talk about. But thinking through, like, what is the front office actually like encountering as possibilities?
Right.
As somebody who's been trying to talk to other people, it seems like, we don't have a match. Because it's like we're straddling that line where we're like, okay, maybe we should flip Christian Wood for an asset. Well, it's like he's an expiring guy, so it's not that valuable. It'd have to be like some dumb team that just, like the Lakers, giving us a first fit way in the distance. But there's just not really that many teams that are trying to win that badly that they would give up a good asset for an expiring Wood. So it's like you just keep him, but what if we lose him? And it would just seem like we're right at that point where, man, we just have no room for error.
We don't. Scott, thank you for joining us.
Anyway. Thanks, man.
All right, coming up next, Aaron. How you doing, Aaron? Sorry to have you wait so long. Appreciate you joining us. Hit that mute button one more time. It's been a while since we've had Aaron in the room. We'll see if it'll let him talk once he comes up on stage here. Yeah, I'm all my fire is gone now. This is why I do these, just like yelling into the void. And I'm sure somebody who's going to be listening to this like tomorrow afternoon is going to be pretty like it's going to sound pretty funny after like a day of thinking about this. Krishna, what's going on? Give Krishna a second too. Krishna might have put down his phone, coming back to it or something like that. Jason Kidd is not listening, Chris. That's hilarious. But I bet somebody they do listen to these from time to time. Maybe not these, but like the shows in general. Just because that's what, I get notifications and things like that. All right, Krishna, you're not there. We're going to head out. I'm tired. You're tired. Everybody's mad. We'll see what's going on here. Krishna, are you there? No, that's okay. He'll hear this tomorrow and send me a text that he either fell asleep or had something else come up. But you know what? Just like the Mavericks, we're not perfect either, and we're going to end on a kind of a weird note that doesn't make sense, just like that game. So this has been Kirk Henderson, Group Therapy. Everybody be good. We'll be back here on Thursday night, late, because it's a TNT game. All right, bye, guys.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate, then get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.